I think the person who made this tweet is in the room, but TLC actually puts out the this metric Mondays thing where they kind of do their own data processing, and led me to respond with, as a data build, which I kind of knew it wasn't, so I wanted to see what they would say. And they said foil it. And what was interesting was nobody had ever said you should go foil this data. So I think if this was kind of the nudge I needed to say, okay, sure, I'll give it a try. So here's some other tweets. So kind of let's why don't we open this data up so people can use it. Here's my foil request. So I actually filled out the PDF and sent it in. I had to go downtown with the hard drive and get it from them, but it was actually a pretty painless experience. So once we shared it online, lots of really cool things happened. And you can see over here on the left, this is r/BigQuery on Reddit. These guys are doing awesome queries with it. A bunch of data science teams all over the world, from universities or just private people got involved and started blogging about it. Really awesome map by Eric Fisher. So this was kind of a really awesome story of like take some data online and see what the world can do with things. But what was I going to do with things? I love data viz, I love mapping, I love transportation, I love civic hacking, I love JavaScript and D3. I've done lots of animations before, but this one was going to be a little bit different. So I said, why don't I take some little data out of the big data and find out kind of what happens to a cab over the course of this day. So I started with data. So I could filter this raw data by myself, but I said, why don't I let the internet do it for me? So I went and asked, this is me, under a fake Reddit name, you'll never know my true Reddit name, completely private. But I asked this subreddit, hey, I'm trying to query multiple cab days out of this data. Somebody replied with this like absurd, like 3-level nested join thing that I would never been able to do, and it was awesome. It worked great. So what I wanted to do with this data prep was take the data out of BigQuery using the query that the guy gave me. I wrote a little node script that fires off kind of batches of these trips to the Google Directions API. The Google Directions API will issue waypoints. So I can kind of bundle a bunch of trips together so I don't have to do so many calls. And then when I get them back, I have trips plus polylines. And that looks kind of like this. So in this data, you'll see these polylines over here. 5 minutes.
Oh, it's 1.5. What? Oh, you made the rules? Yeah. All right, fine. Yeah. 3 more minutes.
And then we have this backend, which is basically a node backend. So it's pulling data from the SQLite database. We have an endpoint, which is /trips, and then we have all this cool stuff happening in the front end. Sorry, I had like no time, so I'm just going to blast through this, and if you want to see it later, just let me know. So basically, I made that endpoint so it's serving up proper GeoJSON for each one of the trips for that 24-hour period. The new territory for me was how do I animate a marker, which I found this really awesome plot, which I'm going to show you in the browser right now. And this is essentially when I found this. I like jumped out loud and I screamed and I woke my wife up. She's like, this was the answer that I needed to actually do this. So what you see here on the screen, essentially what you see in my visualization is just this. Let's keep going very quickly through this. This is the magic where kind of the tweening happens. So essentially, this is way too much. But recentering the map, so basically the map stays focused on the marker, and it's just really easily done through leaflet. I did some running totals, so kind of every time I have a new trip load, so basically just iterating over all the trips that happened that day. And once a new one loads, I just kind of add up these totals with a little bit of JavaScript and just display it on the screen with jQuery. Keeping time using a really awesome library called moment.js. And that makes it really easy with these very simple lines of code to kind of convert time from the format that it's in the database to a screen readable time, and to add and subtract time with the timer. And here's a way of like keeping time, which is just a recursive function. But it does actually sync itself back up when a new cab trip starts. And then last but not least, this really awesome animated chart, which was essentially the blue chart. If you want to continue this path, as you can see, the black areas are all drawn during the breaks. So I just wanted to show kind of how much the driver spends full versus how much he spent empty. A lot of things I would love to have done. I pushed this out very frantically on a Sunday 2 weeks ago so that I could get on with my life, and that backfired. So now there's lots of really good stuff to do. So if anyone wants to help do one of these things, and that's not less, I'll give you that would be great. Thank you very much.
So now there's an opportunity for you to ask some questions. So we'll take 3 to 4 questions. Unless there's really good conversation. In the back.
Is there any aggregate data that you've concluded on like whether taxi drivers have a horrible life or not as bad a life as people think?
No, I haven't thought twice. I mean, I've actually gone back into this since I got to the organization working, so I don't have any really awesome juicy takeaways from this. The only thing that was most interesting to me was the actual frequency and length of the times where they don't have a fare, which seems to be kind of all over the place. If you look at multiple trips, there's really no pattern there. I found it very interesting that there's that much downtime.
So, have you heard from TLC?
No. Oh. I have heard from Creative Mobile Technologies though, and TLC is in the house tonight.
Nice. Maybe we'll hear from them today.
So I don't have a tutorial, but I do have a really awesome blog post that is in 2 parts at chriswhong.com. So it kind of shows a much more detailed version of what I just went through tonight, but it'll give you the places to start, and then the code's open source, so you can follow along with the code once you see how I built this. I wanted to do some live I'm just going to give it vanilla. Here's an API call to the Google Directions API, and we're going to do it right in front of you. So here, this is live. I just called the Google Directions API for I guess this is between the financial district of downtown Brooklyn, and this is what you get back. But the really juicy bit is this thing, which is actually a Google encoded polyline. So Google has their own little algorithm for making these encoded polylines, and you also have this really cool thing where you can test out the polylines. So I can paste that in here, get the code, and it should show me tiny piece of New York. So, no, that's one leg of a taxi drive. So actually, there's a summary polyline down here. You should probably try. Roll coming off whenever you're ready.
Oh man, you're doing it live. We don't have this one across the screen.
And I think there are escape characters. There's no escape characters. Oh, I love that. Delete all locations.
Alright.
No, that's not right. Okay, we left something out. Anyway, that's how the Google Directions API actually works. It gives you back encode that polyline, which you can then translate into GeoJSON or whatever else you want, so you can display it. But that was like a huge learning experience. I've never done it before.
So this was really watch. How much time did you spend messing around with the animation? All that and then
Yeah, so the answer to the question is I probably spent 70% of the time just doing all the data crunching, 30% of the time actually building the front end experience. And the answer to your question is yes, but I don't have time. So maybe someday.
Chris, do you bring this to the NYC 1 week? You got a bunch of feedback, and then on Sunday push it out live. It's beautiful on the format.
It's all on GitHub, so if you want to code, you can come up with that big map.
Chris, how hard was it to translate those pipelines to something you use Macbox?
Well, Macbox actually makes a little JavaScript library that converts them on the fly for you. So you can use Google's API to do it for you. They obviously have it built in as a quality you can do. The JavaScript Macbox actually published an open source library to do the conversions, and I use that. So they're in my attribution, and that's being awesome for designing. It takes in that polyline and spits out an array of longitudes, and then you can go through that and make proper JSON if you want to.
All right, so Chris will be around. He's not leaving just yet. So next up,